What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So yesterday, last night actually, on TNT, there was a much anticipated game between the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Lakers, or simply put, a matchup between LeBron James and Luka Doncic. Now, no matter how you feel about LeBron James, he has had a very statistically productive 20th season. Coming into the game last night, LeBron had been averaging over 29 points per game. I believe he'd been averaging around 8 rebounds and maybe somewhere around 5 to 6 assists per contest. Not quite sure exactly where he was or he is with assists. But he's been having another great campaign. Luka Doncic, however, is having an MVP caliber year. Coming into the game, averaging over 34 points a game, leading the NBA in scoring, to go along with over 9 rebounds, I believe, or right around 9 rebounds, and around 8 to 9 assists per contest. And this was a very back and forth game for the most part, though I think there were stretches when Dallas had a bit of a lead. The Lakers were able to come back into the game. Luka got into foul trouble, and there was a stretch when Luka went a long period of time without scoring, but then Luka struck late in the game with some timely threes and some timely buckets. And down the stretch at the same time, for the most part, LeBron James disappeared. And ultimately, after double overtime, the Mavericks won 119 to 115. Now, what irritates me? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm really tired of LeBron James complaining about that roster. I'm so tired of hearing him complain about the roster. I mean, it's getting to the point where whenever I hear, it's almost getting to the point where after they lose, which is going to be a lot this year, I just I expect him to complain about the roster. Now, this is what I don't understand about this guy. Right? Number one, you still have Russell Westbrook on your team. Right? Now, of course, we know that Russell Westbrook and LeBron are not necessarily a good mix. Well, especially when LeBron wants to play a certain type of way. But let's not forget that AD is hurt. Austin Reeves is hurt. I believe Lonnie Walker IV is hurt. So you got key guys that are out. And yet the Lakers are still competitive. They're still competitive. I think it's clearly being demonstrated by this season. I think it's clearly being demonstrated that Darvin Ham is a better coach than Frank Vogel. Even though Frank Vogel won a championship with the Lakers. I mean, the team that he won a championship with, I think most coaches would have won a championship with. But I think Darvin Ham is clearly proven that he is one of the better coaches in the NBA. Because he's sorely missed in Milwaukee. But focusing on the Lakers, man. Nobody wants to hear you complain to LeBron when you go out there and disappear down the stretch again like you normally do. When you don't want no parts of the basketball when your team is down. Because A, you don't want to get fouled. You go to the foul line. You're definitely afraid of taking a jumper, a long range two, or what have you, or a jump shot in general when your team is down because you're afraid that you're going to miss. You know, if you notice, if you look at LeBron, man, if you look at LeBron over the years, he generally only likes to take shots when his team is up. Or maybe when he has it really going, like he's in one of those super modes. But either that or when his team is up. That's the only time he's really offensively aggressive. If you notice, the only times that he took shots last night is when he was driving to the basket. Because that's pretty much where he likes to get most of his buckets. A good percentage of his buckets come from layups. So he has one of the most misleading field goal percentages in the history of the NBA. Because you would think for a guy that shoots over 50% for his career and he's shooting, I guess, better than 50 this year, you would think that that would indicate he's a great shooter, like Alex English, or at least a good one like Adrian Dantley, or another great one like Michael Jordan, or somehow he's a better shooter than Kobe Bryant, which is bullshit. He's not. Field goal percentage is very misleading. But nobody wants to hear this from this dude, man. I'm just tired of it, man. Like, if I just see him low energy, I'm still a little bit sick. And also, I'm just tired of, like, doing these types of videos. It's because I expect this from this guy every time. I expect this from him now. Whenever his team loses, it's the roster. No, it's not because you went 0 for 7 from three-point range. And that's a guy this is a guy, LeBron, that's always trying to create a narrative. The fact of the matter is, until the very end of the game, I didn't see this dude really guard Luka Doncic one goddamn time. Now, I didn't see the entire game, but except for in the second half, what I saw, until like the latter stages of the second overtime or something, I didn't see him guard Luka Doncic one goddamn time. But I saw Luka guarding him. Can't blame this on Russ. Russ led the team in scoring. Russ shot a lot better than LeBron. And, for everyone that keeps talking about how terrible, a free throw shooter Russ is, and how terrible a three-point shooter he is. Well, LeBron went 0 for 7 from three-point range. And so far this season, LeBron is only a 28% three-point shooter. But, nobody cares when LeBron shoots like shit. Nobody seems to care. Like I've said before, I wonder why that's the case. I wonder why it's the case that nobody cares when this dude play like shit and the team loses. Whenever he play like shit, it's the team that didn't play well. But when LeBron goes out and drops 40, oh, LeBron James, he carries a bunch of bums. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. But anyway, that's all I got to say, man. I'm just disgusted. I'm just disgusted by his constant crying and whining and complaining about the fucking roster when most of the problems that's affiliated with the Lakers are his fault. You traded all of it. You persuaded. Let me say this before they say, "Oh well, he's not the GM. He's not the owner." He persuaded management to get rid of all of the talent and to get the injury-prone Anthony Davis. Right? Is that not true? Then after that, he persuaded management for some inexplicable reason which defies logic to go get Russell Westbrook. And I like Russ as a basketball player. But when it happened, I was like, what the fuck is he doing? They don't go together. And I knew LeBron wasn't going to change his game. So now, AD's always hurt. I mean, Russ is playing better. He's finally doing what people asked him to do, come off the bench. And in smaller increments, he's been a lot more effective. But the team is still under 500. It's time for a leader to step up. Man, that's supposed to be LeBron, right? He's the GOAT. I keep hearing he's the GOAT. He's supposed to take a team on his back and carry them to the playoffs. I mean, that's what people keep telling me. He's better than Michael Jordan. Well, look. The only thing that stopped Michael Jordan from taking the Wizards to the playoffs in 2001 was his fucking knee. His knee. He missed 22 games that year. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do a little research about his tenure with the Wizards, and I might do a video later on. I suspect something, but yeah. So you, LeBron, stop crying about the roster. You're the only motherfucker in the NBA who's dealing with injuries. Ain't nothing special about you. So anyway, that's all I got to say about it, man. Just stop crying, man. Stop whining and stop faking injuries and stop doing all that bullshit you do.